Welcome back. A small but growing movement of budget-conscious consumers are saying goodbye to cable TV and hello to the internet subscription services like Hulu Plus, Amazon Prime, and Netflix. This could be a game changer for the broadcast industry. Deseret News reporter Devin Merling is with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a sports guy, so how am I supposed to live without ESPN and my cable?
Well, that would be one of the major drawbacks of cutting the cable cord. There are people who are finding that sports basically is what's keeping them with cable, because live sports are one of the only things that you can't really get through another avenue, whereas a lot of TV programming and movies, things like that, you can get through the Netflix, the Hulu, the Amazon Prime, that kind of thing. So
well, I'm hearing all the time people saying they're dropping cable, just getting rid of it altogether. What are the benefits of letting go of something that many of us feel we can't?
Well, the major one is cost.
Yeah.
A lot of people are finding, and the networks are basically charging more, which means that the cable companies have to pass on that price to consumers, and consumers are finding that with the escalating costs, I think it's been about 6% a year jump in price, that it's just much more affordable to go to these other internet-based options if they don't need things like sports or that kind of thing.
Here's a graphic showing the growth in monthly television bills and projections. Explain what we're looking at here.
Yes, so this is a projection of what it's going to cost for your cable bill, and as you can see, it's going to be substantially larger than it is now if things don't change. It's been outpacing inflation, and it's been outpacing changes in wages, which are basically flat at the moment. So a lot of people in the industry are saying the time is ripe for some sort of disruptive revolution
away from cable. Well, I always thought the more sports ESPN picks up, the higher my cable bill goes, because they pass the bill right down onto the consumer, and a lot of folks are doing that too, right? They've got to make their money back.
Right. So cable companies are, like I said before, having to pass on the costs of higher network fees to the consumer, and so a lot of people have been suggesting, you know, we could do this unbundling thing. I could just pay for sports. I could just pay for ESPN, something like that. But what a lot of the research has found is that if we were to do that, you would get fewer channels for approximately the same price.
So in your research, you show that one of the mistakes we make as consumers, we bundle up everything because we think it's okay, it's just all in one, but we may be paying more for the bundle.
We may be paying more, or it may be similar to, like, if you go to a buffet versus a normal restaurant,
right,
you end up paying about the same amount. It's just at a buffet, like, you may like the applesauce and I may like the pork chops, and it's the same thing with cable TV. You might like AMC, I might like TBS, and we sort of cross-subsidize each other in the things we watch. So those channels might disappear if we unbundled, and all that would be left would be sort of the sports networks and the major news networks like CNN and Fox News, things like that.
We'll see what happens with cable.
Yep.
It's on some thin ice, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you, Devin.
Appreciate
you being here. You can read more about cutting the cord and the future of cable on DeseretNews.com.
What kind of power and advantage does religious faith give people? And I tell two stories about people who made extraordinarily courageous decisions because of their religious belief. And I have to say, writing those two chapters had an extraordinary effect on my own feelings about religious faith.
Author Malcolm Gladwell talking about his new book, David and Goliath. Deseret News national editor Allison Pond back with us for this week's roundup of The Pulse. That book's making some waves.
It is. Mr. Gladwell has been out promoting his book and stopped by to chat with us about it. And as you saw there, he talked a little bit about his own faith journey and how it rekindled his faith writing this book.
Faith and repentance, is that his faith and forgiveness? That's his the underlying tone of his book?
Yeah, the title of the book is David and Goliath, but actually it wasn't that story that made as big a difference to him as it was stories that he told of forgiveness within the Mennonite community. There was one woman whose daughter had been murdered by a sexual predator, and as he understood and wrote about her story of forgiving him, it touched something in him and made the difference.
The movie rating system's back in the news this week. Everyone's talking about the R, the PG-13, and there's not much of a difference anymore. There's a pediatrics report that's kind of stirred this back up. Yes,
there was a study that found that the level of gun violence in PG-13 movies has tripled since 1985 and is now even higher than in some R-rated films.
Retirement and brain cells, the connection.
Research that the Wall Street Journal reported this week shows that the longer you work before you retire, the lower your chances are of getting dementia.
Interesting. Okay. All right. And what's coming up?
Well, we have some great coverage coming this week. We have a reporter on the ground in the Philippines who's going to be reporting on the relief efforts, what interfaith groups are doing, how families are weathering the continuing crisis. We also have a great story on the front page of today's Deseret News about the legalization of gay marriage in certain states and what religious exemptions are available for people of faith.
Okay, we'll go to the paper and online and read it. Thank you, Allison. You can find all these stories online at DeseretNews.com. That's our report this week. I'm Dave McCann. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We hope to see you back here next Sunday.